Alright everyone, it's time for propaganda that the cable TV audience will never actually know about. If you only pay attention to cable news, you're only getting a small fraction of the actual story, as opposed to doing your own digging through YouTube, Twitter, and other locations where you can find people, some news stories being shot on a street somewhere. Other people around, they see the news cameras, they start recording, so you get the true skinny on what's going on. You get perhaps a wider angle shot of that protest. You get a different take on the so-called assault on a journalist. You get a different take on basically everything. People who only pay attention to cable news, this is why you need to cut your cable. You can get all that online, and you can get the primary source material, and you can get analysis from people that aren't being paid by some bank or corporation or some foreign state, that aren't working for multinational entities like CNN or Fox, something like that, MSNBC. They're all multinational corporation groups. They're simply subsidiaries of some parent company that's worldwide. They don't have any loyalty to the U.S. any more than like the media in other countries. They're all part of multinational corporations usually too. So, you know, the same network that's saying, yeah, the U.S. should probably go to war with this country is also in that country saying, oh yeah, we should probably take up arms against those Americans. Really great for them because that's how they can generate wars and conflicts and then use it for clickbait. And they love it because they make a lot of money. Yeah, follow the money. Best advice ever. But CNN got caught with its dick in the cookie jar over in London, staging a fake rally. And we have footage of that, link in the description to the Mediaite article regarding this. CNN says, oh, this is perfectly normal. But you know what? This wouldn't have even been addressed if it had just been CNN doing the reporting. They don't start recording until everyone's like all assembled, and they bill it as an Islamic solidarity rally. Like, here are peaceful Muslims, they're holding up signs in support of the UK, they're saying, oh, not all Muslims, and, you know, we're not blowing anything up, and we stand with Western civilization and stuff. But it's not even an organic rally. Now, CNN comes out and says that the footage that you see here, where CNN and these groups are ushering people across the cordon in order to arrange themselves to be recorded, that's normal, that they were already there rallying, and that they simply wanted to move them over to the side for perspective. Bullshit, because if they were already there, they just would have set up and started recording them. If they're already in the middle of the streets, there's no traffic to worry about. Why didn't you set up your cameras to record them in the first place? Why did you need to pose them over in the middle of the road off to the side? What's the significance of that? You just wanted, you wanted it to be like professional photography? You're going to take some smiling picture, get their autographs or something? Bullcrap. I don't believe this at all. The story CNN is telling doesn't make sense. If they were already there, behind a cordon, rallying peacefully off to the side of the street, CNN would have set up its camera to take them fucking 30 seconds to take the shot of the people that were already there, showing their solidarity, saying, yeah, we stand with the UK and we condemn this terrorist attack. What sense would it make to set up the cameras pointing in a different direction unless those people weren't actually rallying and they were handing out their little signs to make it look organic so that they could get a scoop, so that they could sell it to the UK's media too. And I think the BBC was there also doing their own stuff. Why did they set up off to the side? It doesn't make any sense. It's not like a TV camera can't be posed, can't be moved. Clearly that's the way that the so-called journalists in the legacy media operate. They get the stuff out of the van. Yeah, it's mobile. You can actually move it. Wow. It's not like a fixed camera that sits in a building somewhere and you have to bring people in to interview them or something. You can actually bring it where you want. It's this new technology. It's called, it's semi-portable. Yeah, a little cumbersome, but you can actually carry it around. They want to say, oh yeah, we needed perspective. Well, then get your perspective by moving the camera 90 degrees. That's all you had to do. I don't believe this. The cable news viewers, the audience watching that story on cable news, thinks that there was an organic Islamic solidarity rally for the UK in defense of the West, and not all Muslims were your friends, you know, blah, blah, blah. In reality, how do we know that these people weren't just like paid $5 a piece, €5 a piece rather, to do this? Or that they were doing something totally, like CNN just went into a majority Islamic neighborhood, handed out some signs, said, oh yeah, pose for the camera. Yeah, solidarity time, we need a good story. BBC there, promising people some sort of a food card or something like that to do it. Before you say, oh, conspiracy theory sticks, need I remind you that the U.S. government provably created propaganda early on in the Iraq War by using specially selected lenses and so forth to make it look like anti-Saddam rallies were about 1,000 times larger than they were? You remember that famous picture that they showed where people were beating the statue of Saddam Hussein with their shoes and ripping it down? And they said, oh yeah, the tens of thousands of Iraqis have gathered here to rip down this statue and beat it with their shoes in a sign of insulting Saddam Hussein because they love the United States. We're liberators. They hated Saddam and they're glad that we're here, destroying Saddam's forces. And then, of course, you have the real story, which is a couple hundred people showed up to rally there, and a bunch of U.S. troops were chaining and ripping down the statue, and it was a small gathering of people who I guess they must have been Shia. They didn't like Saddam Hussein. And that's provable. You can look it up for yourself. This happens all the time. There's that famous meme of the three soldiers there. One's giving water to another while the other soldier's sort of, on guard. I guess it's an enemy soldier they captured and he's like wounded. And they show you, oh, the media can change your perspective. It's all very dishonest. It depends on what they choose to focus on. It's the same thing. It happened in Iraq, happens in Afghanistan, it happens constantly. Because these news organizations, they often take marching orders from some government. CNN was probably called in by the UK's government. Oh, well, we have an image problem perhaps with some of the US population. Why don't you do this fluff piece for us? Here's an Islamic neighborhood. Just, pay these people like $10 a piece or something and get them on there. I wouldn't put it past them. Fox used to do this for Bush during the Iraq War. MSNBC did all sorts of stuff for Clinton during the election. We have the leaked emails to prove that. So why wouldn't I assume that it's possible CNN's doing it? It certainly seems that way. They'd rather move the whole crowd of people across the police cordon than move their fucking camera 90 degrees. I think it sounds a little bit fishy to me. Cameras actually can move. Doesn't make any sense. Was it for the lighting purposes? Oh, yeah, this is lit from the side. It doesn't look quite right. Can you please move over here? Like the British police, and say, oh yeah, you can move the whole crowd over into the middle of the street. After all, that makes perfect sense. You can't just move your camera. I don't think so. I think CNN got caught doing a little bit of a dirty dealing for a clickbait story. Then it appears on like Business Insider and stuff, and you're seeing the CNN recording of a crowd that was pre-assembled at the behest of CNN that apparently they couldn't just aim their camera at. It's a big problem. Now, no wonder they have difficulties with their satellite feeds and stuff. Their journalists are obviously inept. They don't even know how to swivel a news camera. My goodness, how do they survive as a company? That's about all. Peace out.